going on, everybody? We got a new video for this one, so this time we're working on the Miata. We had some issues with the with it shifting into reverse. This car basically hasn't had any maintenance done at all its entire life. It has low miles, but they never did anything. So one thing we've been wanting to do is rebuild the shifter. So that's what we're doing tonight. We got this rebuild kit from MossMiata. It's like the part number for MossMiata. It comes with everything. So it comes with a new boot, the lock rings, and all the bushings. So these are all the different bushings that go inside there. So this should really help with shifter feel and hopefully getting into reverse, because we've already changed the transmission fluid and the shifter fluid. Because if you guys didn't know, Miatas actually have separate gear oil for the shifter, completely separate from the rest of the gear oil, unlike any other 5-speed transmission I've ever seen. So we already changed that, and it didn't really fix the problem. It helped, but it didn't fix it. So that's what we're hoping to fix today. So obviously the first step, which we've already done, is take your center console off, and then there's just some 10 mil bolts that hold this on right here in the front and 2 in the back, and then that whole boot just kind of comes off. As you can see, this one is completely torn and destroyed, so definitely time for a new one. And the boot that actually goes onto the back of the transmission is also torn, so it's been leaking fluid all back through there. So yeah, it's definitely time for a rebuild. So hopefully this fixes our problem and we don't have to get a whole new transmission. So next steps, once you get to about this point, is we're going to take the 10 mil bolts off. They go around the top. There are 3 of them. So we're going to take those off, and then I'll show you what's next. I got those bolts off, so it just kind of pops out through the top. You can see we changed most of the fluid, but we're going to use our suction vacuum thing to suck out all the rest of the fluid. So our new kit should come with a new boot for this thing, and the rings and stuff that go inside there. So yeah, so let's pull that out of there, and then we'll start taking that thing apart. You can probably do it on the bench. It might be easier.
Yeah.
So we got all the different shims. These are like compressor ring shims. It even came with a new thing for the bottom. So we popped this ring off the bottom. I just need to get a flathead to get in there and pull that thing out. Just like that. And this thing has a new boot on it, as you can see here. So we need to get that whole ring off. Which, is that this ring right here?
Yeah.
This one? Yeah. So all these are super worn out.
It's got the shim that goes in.
Yeah.
There.
So the first thing we need to do is rebuild the shifter shaft. So we need to cut off all this old boot stuff and get this ring out of here, and then we should be able to push all that stuff up through that side. So we're just going to cut all this stuff away, and then slowly work one ring off at a time.
And the next step is just to really clean this really well with some cleaner. Make sure that it's not dirty when it goes back in.
Yeah, this rubber ring right here should be left alone. Ours is kind of destroyed already, so you just kind of leave that in there. I don't think it really matters too much.
So we're just working on putting back together the pieces. This goes obviously here, and this will go here. This is a metal shim. You can or can't use it. It depends on if you want to. Most people say they don't use it, but I'm going to go ahead and use it. And then there's 2 different rings, and you want to make sure that you get the flat ring for the shifter, because this one that has the notch in it will actually go in the car, which we'll show in just a second. So I'm going to put these together. This just connects like this.
The other side. Yeah.
Twisted it in my hand. Oops. Yeah, see, this is all bent now, babe.
Yeah, that's how it goes. It holds itself in.
We'll just put this on this. And then this on this. Pop this little guy in. And then with some force, pop that in. Maybe. There we go. And there you go. And then this will go over this. However, I need to get some gear oil to get this lubricated so that we can stuff it on there.
It goes all the way down?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so we got that slid over. It's a really tight fit. You just have to go slow. Make sure it's nice and lubed up. So next we get to go put this in the actual shifter assembly inside the transmission. But first we are going to use this little suction tool thing with our air compressor and suck all the old gear oil out of there. If you don't have one of these, this is a really crappy one, but if you don't have one, you can use a turkey baster to try to get as much fluid out as you can. Usually if you're doing this, your fluid is, you know, really dirty and black anyway, so you can take a look at this. You can see it's pretty gross, even though we've already changed some of it with the turkey baster. So now we're going to suck all this stuff out so we can get those shims out of there. Ah, crap. Okay, so we're going to pop this ring out. That has the, see, that has the shim on it right there. And then so now we should be able to get back in there a little bit more.
There's just a little bit more in there that I want to get, and then I want to take the paper towel and clean out this and make sure that it's really good.
Get the spring-loaded clip on it, just like that. So we're going to pop it in.
Just make sure that the notch is over there. There we go. And it's in.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to grab our shifter and fill it up with fluid. 7590 full synthetic gear oil. This is what we use to change the transmission, all the fluid with. So use the same thing for the shifter. It should be fine.
You just fill it up to the bottom line. Fresh fluid. Nobody knows the exact amount.
It just goes up all the way to that. A little more than that, I think it was.
My hand slipped.
Okay. Yep, right up to the metal. Should be good.
This is the tricky part. Just making sure that you line this up with the notch in the inside. And kind of just wiggle it around until it falls in. Which I think
it's in.
It's in.
Yep.
And then you just push that down, and you'll put the 10 mil bolts back in it.
Yep. You want to be careful not to over tighten these bolts because they're just tiny little 10 mil bolts going into aluminum, so you can snap them off very easily, and then your night's ruined. So just be careful not to over tighten them. The whole transmission because on the back of here because it was leaking pretty bad, so it looks a lot better now. Now that it's sealed up, you can brake clean it off and it looks all nice again. So now we gotta put the boot on, and that already has the ring on it and everything. So we just We can put our center console back in and the shift knob, and we should be done. Alright, there it is. So it took all the slop out of it. It feels really good. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.